welcome guys to another episode of Come to Work with me, Audrey, and with the Vic Lens. We are here today again to interview another amazing vet champion, Benny Greggs. But before we get started, I'd like to acknowledge the traditional owners of the land on which we meet today, which we all meet from today. We'd like to acknowledge their elders past, present and emerging. And we'd also like to welcome any Indigenous or Torres Strait Islander friends tuning in today to learn a bit more about what Benny does. Ben, welcome. How are you? It's great to see you.
Good, thanks, Audrey. I'm so happy to be here. It's a beautiful sunny day in Melbourne, I think, for everyone. I hope so anyway. So I'm very happy to be here. Thank you so much for having me.
No, beautiful. So tell us who you are and what you do.
So my name is Benny Greggs and I'm the Director of North End Financial, BG Group AU. And I started my journey. When did I start my journey? What I do as an individual at the moment is look after many artists from all across the country, especially in Victoria, and give them opportunities to thrive as musicians or as sessional artists. We give them opportunities to create their music, to perform, to interact, to connect, and to network. As you know, Audrey, networking is one of the most important things to do in this industry. Photography and videography, which is where I originally, started to build my organization, shooting many events, working with some of the best and biggest organizations in Victoria and interstate, and event management. So organizing some incredible activations, live streams, festivals all across Victoria, as well as being a community director of North End Financial, which is Bendigo Bank, which is an incredible opportunity where I look after and chair the community engagement and youth engagement team to give back to all the individuals across the Mitchell Shire, amongst many other things. I love to have a chat. I love to cook. I love to play music as well and play piano. So that's a little bit. That's me in a nutshell. But I'm sure we'll dive.
You're very busy.
Always, I love it.
Busy.
And
that is a lot.
I'm soon to be an author and to be on some regional TV too, which I'm very excited about.
Absolutely. Now tell us a bit about your vet journey. So when you were in year 11 and 12, you were doing, you were doing AV club, you're doing photography club, you were doing anything you could basically, school leadership and whatnot. And then you were like, is VC the right choice for me, or is vet? How'd you figure that out?
So look, I think for a lot of people out there, a lot of young individuals out in the community, there's a bit of a struggle to understand the journey that you want to go on in your life at such a young age. Because really, I think there's a statistic that I won't say because I just don't know exactly what it is. But I think people change jobs like a few times throughout, or change complete career paths through their entire journey. And as a young individual, I was very lucky that I knew the avenue I wanted to go down. However, I wasn't so sure about where it was going to take me. And one thing I liked, I was, as many people know, I took and gave every opportunity a try. When I was younger, I started on OCAR FM, which we both were on OCAR FM 98.3 and 97.1 on your drive home on a beautiful Friday evening, which I absolutely loved. And I think I gave artists opportunities. I was pretty lucky to interview some incredible celebrities across Melbourne and give artists opportunities, but I wanted to try something different during that time because I knew it was something for me and I loved chatting, but I still had that passion in events management and AV and photography and videography. So at the time, I think I was in year 10 and started studying an event management course, a Cert 3 in events management.
And what about school, wasn't it?
Pardon, say that again?
That was through school.
Yeah, that's correct.
The school we went to offered the ability to do a vet course as one of your core subjects between maybe year 9 and year 10 if you were lucky.
Yeah.
Which a lot of schools don't necessarily offer, but we were lucky to. So you were able to do it in year 10.
Yeah.
So that was a Cert 3?
Yeah, so a Cert 3 in events management, and then going into year 11 and 12, I did a Cert 3 in drone piloting too.
Nice.
So cool, right?
Yeah, that's the fun one.
So cool. So that's where it sort of took off under events management and started creating my own events and giving it a try. I think at a young age, when I was 10, I started working as a DJ, not because I felt like I had to work, it's because I wanted to work. I bought myself, those little Kmart tower speakers, those little box ones, they're the iconic tower speakers. I got one of those as a kid, and I vividly remember getting dressed in a clown costume and DJing my cousin's party with my iPad.
Yeah, nice. That's very cool.
So I gave everything.
Why a clown costume, may I ask?
I wish I could tell you. I just don't know what was going through my head at the time.
It was just cool. No worries. That's fine.
And that's part of being individual, right? If I was a bit of a clown, apparently. But look, I think through school, it was so important for me to give every opportunity a try. If it was leadership, if it was sports, if it was cultural, if it was VCE, if it was, I didn't do VCAL, obviously, because you can't jump between VCE and VCAL. However, I think I needed a hands-on practical approach to my learning. And I was very lucky that in school, I asked questions, and I like to say the word negotiated. I reasoned with my teachers in how I wanted to learn, because, as for you, Audrey, you went off and did did year 11, 12 in a university or in a campus, where for me, it was that traditional education system, but I asked questions and tried to mold the learning experience for VC to match what I wanted to do, both practical, running an organization, and being in leadership. So yes, I studied events, Cert 3 in events management. And by that point, I did my RSA at school too. I did my my UHF radio license, which you need to have in the industry, and especially when flying any commercial drones. So it was very important. And to get a year 12 pass too, I did non-scored. I felt like that was the journey for me. I wasn't the best as at exams. And during that time, I had a lot of family issues going on at the same time too, and losing my mother. So I think, look, having a school and having the opportunity to voice my opinions and take direction on my learning was probably one of the most important things to get me to where I am today.
Absolutely. So I think definitely we were lucky that we were at a school that gave us the ability to learn and grow and go down different journeys and different paths.
100%.
And it helped us both out in our careers. And for someone about, your age, you're 20, you're rather successful, and your company is doing amazing things. So at the moment, what is your craziest experience on the job, your craziest project in a small amount of words, of course? I'm sure you've got plenty of stories running through your head right now, but let's find one.
I think the craziest experience that I've had is networking and mingling with people that I didn't know were actually well-known people. And it just shows that celebrities and individuals and people of influence in the community are very human, and I think people idolize them, which is amazing. It's so incredible, but they're also very human. I was in Sydney doing the launch of an art gallery for a client when I was 16. They flew me over to Sydney to work with them, and Rob Hurst was the guitarist from Midnight Oil, one of Australia's biggest bands. Anyway, he came in and we were having a bit of a coffee and a catch up, and everyone's like, "Oh, g'day, Rob, how are you?" Everyone's talking to him like, "Who is this guy?" Came, sat down for coffee, and I'm sitting there going, "So what do you do, mate, in life?" Like, I had no idea who this bloke was. Anyway, it wasn't until we did the art gallery, he performed as massive, like 400-500 people standing ovation. I'm like, wow, they're making a big deal over this bloke. And then I got home and said, "Oh, Mum, there was this guy that was playing guitar." And she's like, "Who was it?" I was like, "Rob Hurst from some band called Midnight Oil." She's like, "Are you serious?" So I think it's happened so many times, and it just shows that people are just human in this industry, as you're aware from Channel 31 and having lots of celebs being broadcasted every single day. That everyone's just human, and it's a very funny story. It's you know what, we're all human, right?
I can almost imagine your mum standing in the kitchen just saying, "What?"
She was. I think she's cooking pasta. Well, and she was like,
"Are you serious?"
Like, "Did you get a photo?" I was like, "No," because I didn't know who this bloke was. I thought he was like one of the just. I'm not gonna say. I was gonna say something, but I'm not gonna say that. Anyway, go on.
But no, it's very cool that you've got so many great experience up your sleeve, and I think within the industry, there's a lot of misconceptions about both events management and photography and videography, and that you're only good at what you can do. You're not going to grow anywhere. But with photography and videography, and especially events management, there are so many different opportunities and different world experiences you can get within the industry. And I think, you're a perfect example of this. You've got different experiences with both playing music at events and hosting your first gala at such a young age. That would have had so much preparation needed for that. It's not just getting there, ticking off the box. It's, planning it, the food, the decorations, the lighting,
Look, I think you just have to push yourself into the deep end. The biggest piece of advice I ever got as a young individual was to never say no. Which there's a balance. There's a very balance, because if you say yes all the time, you burn yourself out. But when you never say no and you give everything a try and you do things for free and you put yourself out in the community as much as you can and you give and you try and diversify yourself in so many different skill sets, by the time you get into the industry, you're so adaptable to any work environment that you can give all of them a try and be employed as it. You don't limit yourself to that one pathway that you want to go down. Don't be afraid to, I like the word diversify, just to really build up your personal toolkit. That's what my organization is now. For so many organizations, we're the toolkit to help them succeed, because we can service so many different departments, including where I started in DJing, photography and videography. So I think giving things a crack and never saying no and throwing yourself under the bus. If a client comes to me and says, can you do this? And I know I can't, I go, 100% we can. But then guess what? You make it work, and you use the people around you to make it work, and the skill set that you've developed from doing so many amazing things and learning, whether it's through VC, VCAL, TAFE, VET, uni. I think they're all very incredible sources to learn in the workforce.
Yeah, absolutely. And having a VET certificate sort of in your portfolio at such a young age, if you have that opportunity to do it in year 9, 10, 11, absolutely go for it. Even if you don't see yourself in that industry forever, it still gives you a great sort of leg up in any career when you leave school.
It's just that tick of approval to say that you've been committed. You're committed to doing something, like a pass of anything or a certificate. It shows that you've stuck down, you put your head down, and you've actually committed to achieving a result for yourself, for your educational ability, your educational well-being. So 100%, that's very true.
Absolutely. Now, you did mention something about the advice you got as a young person from someone else, but what would be the one piece of advice you'd give younger Benny, if you could? 14, 15-year-old Ben at high school, what would you tell him?
I'm going to quote a great friend of mine and an incredible mentor, Terry Zeronis. Terry Talks, who owns an organization that I've been very lucky to be a part of. It's don't give a crap. I think in school, we try and conform to so many different stereotypes, and we try and be in the popular crew, and they're not, and we try and fit in because we feel like that's what's important. And at the time, that's how schools have worked, unfortunately. And I mean, fortunately, in most moments, right? But I think when you don't give a crap, you understand you're not limited by other people's beliefs in yourself that they put onto you. You're not limited in any way, shape or form. You're doing things purely because you want to do it and you love to do it, and no one else has influence. And look, it wasn't until I got up and did my year 12 speech in year 12, and I said, I was so worried about what all of you guys thought of me. But now I stand up here and realize that was so irrelevant right now. But going through school, if I didn't have that experience, I wouldn't be where I am today. So I think there's a fine balance, but going to school, doing it because you love it and not caring what other things, because most of the time in your mind, you just imagine what they're thinking of you, because half the time they get out of school and go, oh my God, I envied you at school. You were incredible. The fact that you just had your own confidence to do what you wanted to do was phenomenal. And bro, like, you're going to do amazing things in life. And you're like, wow, why was I so worried, right?
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. Ben, thank you so much for joining us today, taking time out of your extremely busy schedule, because I know that today and the next couple of days is going to be crazy for you and your team now that you've got a bit of freedom.
I know. Look, I'm very thankful to be on here, and thank you all so much for having me. And I cannot wait to get in the field and hopefully have one of these in person very soon. So thanks so much for having me, Ords.
No, thank you. A big shout out to the Benny Greggs group, of course, all your team, and everyone who's going to be very busy for the next couple of weeks.
We're going to be seeing a lot of each other soon, so we'll see you very soon.
Absolutely, yes, absolutely. Of course, well done and congratulations for being one of the 22 announced vet champions. I might be wrong there. I think it's 22, the new vet champions that have been released. So congratulations.
Thank you very much.
Anyone wants any more information about the vet champions, you can go to their website. Of course, Carrie's put it up here for us. Lesson plans will be available on our Vic Lens website, and of course, recordings from previous Come to Work With Me in today. Other than that, thank you again, Ben, for joining us. Thank you to everyone for making this happen.